My 27 male fiancée Lily, 25 female, and I have been together for 3 years and are currently planning our wedding. Lily grew up fantasizing about her future wedding, so naturally she's very excited about it. However, I have a few concerns with her attitude about the wedding. First, she's become so obsessed with the planning that she gets visibly annoyed whenever I give my input. It upset me because this is my wedding too and I also want to help plan. Not only that, but she refuses to acknowledge the choices I do make. I don't know why, but Lily despises my brother. When I asked her why, she said he was just really annoying. She freaked when I told her he was a groomsman. She told me I had to make him a regular guest because she would be uncomfortable with him there. She said I had to choose another person to take his place because she deserved to be happy on her wedding day as well. This resulted in a huge fight between us and I ended up venting to my parents about my frustrations because Lily won't listen to me about them. Yesterday, Lily and I went to dinner with them and the topic of the wedding came up. To make a long story short, they all ended up yelling at each other over everything that's happened, and my mom called Lily a controlling witch. Now Lily is demanding I uninvite my parents as well, but I don't want to. So now Lily's mad at me, my parents are telling me to reconsider the relationship, and my brother thinks Lily's lost her marbles. Am I the idiot for not wanting to uninvite my parents or brother? Wowzer, it would be best if you uninvited Lily. You are not the idiot, but you need to put the brakes on this wedding. Something is seriously wrong here. Your bride-to-be sounds out of control on this, and there's no way she should have forced you to change who was standing up for you. And this is your day too. Couple of huge red flags here. It sounds like Lily wants a wedding, not a marriage. Alienating family is a dangerous sign. Despising the brother for being really annoying. Pitching a fit and saying she'd be uncomfortable with OP's reasonable decision to make his brother a groomsman. That's not something a good person and partner does. Dude, save yourself the trouble and money and let this girl go. Disagree, everyone's the idiot here. On the surface, this sounds like a case of a controlling bridezilla. That said, some other factors here make me think these two need to pump brakes. Why do you involve your parents? How dare your mommy call her witch? When people need to insert their parents and family into their relationship dynamics, that's usually a recipe for disaster. Yeah, name-calling is uncalled for. Everyone hates on Lily, but there's a reason she dislikes your brother so much. It sounds to me like your brother has said or done something inexcusable to her that she is reluctant to share with you. Info, did Lily used to date your brother or did he say or do something creepy? Because that might explain some of her issues. Lily and my brother haven't met outside of me visiting with her, and my brother's nearly adult so he wouldn't know any of her friends. Mom's been nice too, and she usually never curses, so the entitled witch thing was a bit shocking. Wait, your brother is a kid? Bridezilla has been complaining about a freaking teenager? Well, guess we know where she sits on the having kids discussion, LMAO. Dump this chick, man. I know 3 years is a lot to give up on, but it's nothing compared to the wonderful future you'd have with her if you went through with this colossal mistake. Update. Hey everybody, I've been thinking over what you've said for the past few hours and I've realised this situation isn't just some drama between my fiancé and family. I'll talk to Lily about postponing the wedding, and if she freaks out again, I might consider cancelling it altogether. I realise that now this isn't the person I fell in love with 3 years ago. Thank you all so much for confirming my concerns about this. I, male 18, am a senior in high school and this creepy girl 18 has been following me around for the past few months. I've caught her recording me multiple times and one of my friends showed me this invasive Tumblr page she made of edited pictures of her and me as a couple. I've tried confronting her before and telling her to stop following me around, but she always scampers off when I start talking to her and telling her off. I had to block her on various social media after she sent me detailed DMs about her fantasies of me. I've tried reporting her to my dean with her DMs, but he's completely useless and my parents don't care at all about how she's creeping me out. They think I should be flattered. A few weeks ago, she came up to me with this small box of cupcakes during lunch. Now, I know she ditched class to come to stalk me and find out which cafeteria space I was sitting in for lunch because my friend had physics class with her during my lunch period. I was furious that she was approaching me again, so I told her I didn't want her gift and to leave me alone. She mumbled sorry but tried to force the box into my hands or lap. I finally stopped resisting and as soon as she backed off I said, "Jesus, you creepy witch." I took the cupcake box to the nearest garbage can and shook it empty into the bin and chucked the box in too. She started crying and ran off, and my friends were half laughing at the situation and half calling me savage and heartless. However, one of my friends texted me later, and she said my reaction was extremely cruel and uncalled for. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She's legally an adult, as are you. File a police report and get a restraining order. Don't accept any gifts from her, report her to all your social media and file a formal complaint with your school's Board of Education. You should keep and file any text messages from her as well as screenshots of her Tumblr pages. These can be used as evidence to establish a behavior pattern of unwanted contact. Yeah, who knows what might have been in those cupcakes? Take it to the cops and file charges. You're both adults and don't have to rely on your parents. What she's doing is illegal in most states and is called stalking. Take that seriously, and I feel like the response you're getting from adults in your life is straight up misogynistic. If the gender roles were reversed, 100% their responses would be different. Trashing the cupcakes was done out of your frustration and anger, not cruelty or a deliberate desire to be mean. People react badly to anger. They treat it as a negative emotion you should not feel, which is very wrong. Your anger is your way of telling yourself that things are getting hurtful and frightening to you, and that the way you're being treated isn't right. And the way you're being treated by everyone involved in this is not right, from the girl to your parents, friends, and teachers. I urge you to sit your parents down and make them listen to you, because this girl's behavior is not a joke. Ask your parents what they'll think when she gets to the point where she's driving by your house multiple times a day, I bet she already is, or when she breaks into your home in the middle of the night and tries to climb in bed with you. At what point will they take her behavior and your feelings about it seriously and start acting like real parents who protect their kids? Take this seriously, because this girl's behavior is way outside of normal parameters, and you just don't know what people can be capable of. You have now humiliated her in public. Who knows what she'll do next? I, 35 male, share custody of my nearly adult daughter. I get her every 2 weeks and she'll come and live with me and my fiance, 36 female. I work as an ER nurse, so I sometimes have weird shifts, which leaves my fiance and daughter alone together. I thought getting some girl time with each other would be good for them. I was wrong. They really don't get along. Part of me thinks it's her mother's influence because her mother hates my fiance. So this situation started Friday night. That morning she asked me if she could go out with some friends that night, and I said sure. Her curfew is 11 PM, which is reasonable for a teenage girl. She knows this and will be punished if she doesn't show up at 11. That night I had to work, so I asked my fiancée to make sure she was back home safe and sound by 11. I've never had a problem with her missing curfew, so I didn't worry about it. I went to work at 8 PM and didn't return home until around 9 AM. When I got home, my fiancée was up and distraught. She told me that my daughter came back home past curfew, and when she confronted her about it, my daughter lost her temper and went off. After talking to her, I spoke to my daughter, who said she was only a few minutes late, and that my girlfriend overreacted and tried to punish her. So typically I don't like to take sides and just try to find some middle ground between them, but this time I could check everything by looking at our home security cameras. My daughter got home at 1 AM. I interpreted this as my daughter not being fully truthful, so I sided with my partner. I punished my daughter by taking her car keys and stopping her allowance. She and her mother have in response both accused me of caring more about my fiancé than my daughter, which isn't true. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Your fiancé is only 9 years older than your daughter. You're setting them both up for failure if you ask your fiancé to take on a parental role with your daughter, especially when they already don't get along. By all means, have a curfew and confront your daughter if she doesn't follow it, but don't make it something between your daughter and fiancé. Exactly, the age difference between dad and fiancé is the same as between fiancé and daughter. The daughter is practically an adult at this point. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have rules to follow, but the main issue is that all discipline should be 100% on dad. I do wonder why he has cameras, but then asked the fiancé to make sure his daughter was home on time. He'd be able to check and find out without having to put anyone in an awkward situation. Info: why does your daughter's mother dislike your fiancé? The man she cheated on me with didn't stay with her after she ruined our marriage. Now she's bitter that I have someone who loves me while she's still alone with no one. Too bad for your ex. Anyway, you're not the idiot. Your daughter was trying to take advantage of the fact that you weren't home and normally don't take sides. Your daughter lied to you, that's all any of us need to know. She stayed out way past her curfew, probably doing many things she shouldn't be doing, and she has at least 3 adults in her life who are responsible for her well-being. Your ex-wife can deal with the consequences if she believes there's nothing wrong with a girl her age staying out until 1 a.m. and not be bound by anyone's rules. My daughter, 23, brought her girlfriend, 25, to stay in her house for a few days. It wasn't the first time I, 56 female, met her girlfriend, but it was the first time we knew she was serious about this girl. They went on to stay in a room that I can safely say usually is my workspace with a spare bed. We moved houses after our kids moved out, so our daughter didn't really have a room in this new house. In the morning, I noticed I'd left my tablet stylus pen in their room, and I needed it to get on with my work. So I thought I'd wait for them to get up and then I'll get it. I waited an hour and they didn't wake up, so I entered their room, retrieved the pen, walked out and closed the door. I didn't want to wake them up because they'd come a long way on a long flight. My daughter later confronted me about it and said she was extremely uncomfortable with what had happened. She said it was inappropriate for me to go in. I was like, sure, but nothing bad happened, it wasn't a big deal. She was mad and said what if none of them were wearing something appropriate and insisted that this was an invasion of her privacy. I told her that was not the case. It really wasn't. I didn't even look but noticed they were only cuddling and asleep, so nothing was inappropriate in that sense. My daughter left much earlier than planned and demanded an apology before ever coming to visit again. I don't think I did something crazy, it was just a second. Does this make me an idiot? She insisted that this was an invasion of her privacy. I told her that was not the case. Oh, it really was. I'm guessing your history of dismissing her feelings is one reason she's angry, and that's probably why she now lives a long flight away. You are the idiot. OP, this could have been such a nothing burger if only you just said, whoops, didn't think about it that way, sorry honey, I'll be more cognizant going forward. Your daughter didn't leave early because you were in there for just a second. She left early because you dismissed her when she told you she was uncomfortable with it. I don't think it's a leap to think this might be a pattern your daughter has run out of patience for. So you didn't knock and didn't look, but you noticed they were cuddling. So you did indeed look. When you have guests over, you knock and wait for approval before entering their room. I don't care if it's your house, they deserve privacy when in a room, especially while sleeping. It's not important that it's your office. At the moment, it's their bedroom. She's 23 for God's sake and not 3. Would you like it if hotel staff just walked in to check on the fridge or TV? You gave that room to your daughter and you should respect boundaries. You desperately needed a stylus. A stylus for your tablet. Desperately? And it couldn't wait? Was it a stylus emergency? Sure, at least come up with a better lie. You didn't just walk in on your daughter but also on a sleeping adult to whom you are a stranger. It was wildly inappropriate. You could have waited or knocked. In her shoes, I would never come to visit again either. Certainly not overnight. I, 33 female, am pregnant for the first time. I'm 8 months pregnant and getting closer and closer to my date. I'm supposed to be on bed rest. My husband, though, works very long hours, sometimes close to 16 hours a day. He's a hospitalist at a hospital nearly an hour away. I love my husband. We've been together since high school, but he's never home. He works 7 days a week. Some days are shorter than others. But my husband has an issue with picking up and staying. He's very passionate about his work. The times he is home, he's mostly sleeping or does a little clean-up of the house. Since I've been placed on bed rest, I've decided I will be staying with my mother till I give birth so that I can have extra help, and my husband wouldn't have to come home and clean up after me. At this point, I had to have someone stand by when I showered. I didn't want to put that on him. When I brought this up to my husband, he was deeply upset and told me he didn't want me going, that he works that many hours and likes to come home to see me. I told him he'd have to take his paid leave at work till the end of my pregnancy or I was leaving. He got upset and said I couldn't make him choose between those things and that he could take shorter days, but he worked an important job and couldn't pick up and go. I told him he needed to because I needed him too. He's been upset for the past 2 days and says he can't believe I gave him an ultimatum and it wasn't fair to him. I think I'm being perfectly fair. Not the idiot. You're on bed rest for a reason and overdoing it is dangerous to you and your unborn child. You need support. Go to your mother's. Your husband can come to see you there. At this point, the baby comes first, well before your husband's feelings, and he might as well get on board with that because I suspect parenthood will be a big shock for him. Cobblers' wives go barefoot and doctors' wives die young. Spoiler, he won't take shorter days. Something will always magically come up. Anyone who gets paid leave and doesn't take it is a sucker who thinks his job will love him back. I couldn't agree with you more. OP, you're not giving him an ultimatum, you're just making alternate arrangements for your care while you're vulnerable and on bed rest. It's what you medically need to do because you need help at home for your own safety. He's being extremely selfish. He wants to see you when you get home but doesn't want to make any concessions to ensure you have the basic home care you need. You can't have it both ways. Those are mutually exclusive things. So why does his desire to see you when he gets home, as if you were some pleasant house decoration for his viewing pleasure, trump the safety of both you and the baby? You aren't a toy for his amusement. This. On another note, one of the best doctors I ever had was amazing. He was available all of the time. The nurses said his patients weren't given so much as an aspirin without his approval, but he was also a divorced man whose kids didn't speak to him. The one time he slipped and told me something personal, he admitted he worked such long hours that his kids only contacted him when they needed a check. OP, talk to your husband. He can't be the best doctor in the world and be the best husband to you. He must be okay with you getting help from your mom if he wants to live this way. Seriously, OP's hubby works in healthcare but does not understand bed rest? I'm not convinced your husband even cares about your health. I hope you're ready to be a single parent with a completely absent father.